am Nishu and we are going to start today chapter number 3, Human Reproduction. The topics which we are going to cover in this chapters are male reproductive system, female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, parturition and lactation. One by one, all the topics we will be discussing in detail. So, let us begin with the introduction of the chapter Human Reproduction. We all know that all the living organisms reproduces. As we have studied in the previous chapters also, that what is reproduction? Reproduction is a process in which new offsprings are given birth from the pre-existing parents. Who are these pre-existing parents? Who are present, who are surviving on this planet in a family from prior. From them, when a new offsprings are given birth, this process is called as reproduction. Now, reproduction process is of two types. We have discussed that also before. It is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Now, we have covered the asexual part. Now, we are moving towards the sexual part. Now, human reproduction, we are going to begin, and we all know that all the living organisms reproduces their same similar individuals to continue life on the earth. Now, human beings reproduces sexually. The process by which human beings reproduces their next generation is a sexual reproduction. Now, during sexual reproduction, haploid sex cells are formed. Haploid means n number of chromosomes present inside the cells. Now, what is haploid and diploid will be coming little later. But here, what is it? That during the sexual reproduction, in the beginning of the process, haploid sex cells are formed inside the body. And these haploid sex cells are called as gametes. And these gametes are of two types, male gamete and a female gamete. The male gamete is called as sperm and the female gamete is called as ovum or egg. Now, these two male gametes and female gametes, they fuses together by the process called as fertilization, and after the fertilization, as a result of this process, a diploid number of chromosomes having cell zygote is formed. Now, what is diploid? Diploid is having chromosomes 2n number. 2n number means haploid means half and diploid means double. So, we all know that human reproduction in a human beings are having 46 number of chromosomes. So, in this 46 number of chromosomes, if we divide it into 23 and 23, so 23 number of chromosomes are present in sperms and 23 number of chromosomes are present in ovum. So 23 and 23, it gives equal to 46 number of chromosomes. So this is n number of chromosome where they are fusing together by the fertilization process. It is forming 46 number of chromosome, that is your diploid number of cells, diploid number of chromosomes having zygote is formed. Now, this zygote develops into new individual. This zygote which is formed here, this zygote is a solid ball-like structure, a single cell-like structure having 2n number of chromosomes, 46 number of chromosomes. Now, in future, this zygote undergoes cleavage, undergoes cell division into multiple number of cells, and slowly, gradually, this zygote develops into new individual, new offspring. Now, above mentioned all these steps which I have discussed here, these all reproductive events will be repeated in an individual only attaining after puberty. What is puberty? Puberty is an age group of adolescence. So when a child moves towards the puberty, moves towards the adolescence, then all these steps are going to be repeated in the same offspring which was born now. So haploid number of cells will be formed, then your gametes formation will be there, zygote formation will be there, fusion will be there. All such process is going to repeat in the new offspring. And what is the age of puberty? Now, age of puberty is different among the girls and the boys. Among the girls, the age of puberty is 12 to 13 years, and among boys it is your 13 to 14 years. So this is the age of puberty among the girls and the boys. Now moving ahead, there are two more terms which are very important for us to know. The first term you can see here, I have written on the board, it's viviparous. From a childhood, from class 6 onward, you people are studying that organisms are of two types, oviparous and viviparous. Now, who are oviparous and who are viviparous? The organisms who lay eggs are called as oviparous, and the organisms who give birth to the young ones are called as viviparous. So, human beings are viviparous. Human beings, like other mammals, they give birth to their young ones. Now, the second term mentioned here is sexual dimorphism. What do you mean by sexual dimorphism? Sexual dimorphism means two separate sexes. Now, two separate sexes in human beings community, we are males or we are females. Two separate sexes are there, male and female. Here I have drawn two symbols. This is a symbol of a male. When we draw a circle and give an arrow on it, this is a symbol for a male. And when we give a circle and give a plus sign at the bottom, this is a sign for females. So, in human community, two separate sexes are present, two separate sexes occurs, and that is why human community is considered to have a sexual dimorphism. Children, the second most important thing which is very necessary for us to know, that in human reproduction, in human reproductive system, there are two types of sex organs present, which is known as primary sex organ and secondary sex organ. Primary sex organs present inside the body of males and females are testes and ovary. These are the main two organs which are responsible for the reproduction process. If we consider testes in case of males, testis is responsible for the production of sperms as well as for the secretions of hormone testosterone. And when we consider ovary, ovary is responsible for the production of ovum or egg cell, and it also helps in secretion of sexual hormone called as progesterone. So these are the primary sex organs which are mainly involved in the reproduction process. If these two organs are not present or anyhow they are not in functional process, then human reproduction will not be a successful reproductive system. So this is primary sex organ, and this comprises of testis and ovary. Now in the second case, it is your secondary sex organ. Secondary sex organs are supportive organs. Supportive organs, like without the help of these organs, these testes and ovaries are not going to function in a proper manner. The proper functioning of reproduction, the process of reproduction would not be held in a successful manner. So these are the parts which are assisting the testis and ovary. And what are the secondary sex organs in case of testis which are assisting them are prostate glands, seminal vesicles, Cowper's glands, vas deferens, epididymis and penis. These are the important secondary sexual organs which are assisting testes to release sperms and secretion of testosterone so that the male reproductive system can function properly. Now in case of ovary, secondary sexual characters which are assisting ovaries are fallopian tubes, which is also called as oviduct, uterus, vagina and your mammary gland. These are the parts which are assisting ovary, fallopian tube, uterus, vagina and mammary. Primary sex organs and secondary sex organs we have studied just now. Along with the development of secondary sex organs, some secondary sexual characters also develops inside the human body, inside the human beings. Now, what is the actual age when your secondary sexual characters develop inside the body? So the age and the age group at which the secondary sexual characters develop, that age group is called as puberty. I have mentioned before, few minutes back, that your puberty age in case of girls is 11 to 12 and in boys it's 13 to 14, or we can say that it's 12 to 13. It varies. So there are certain secondary sexual characters which develops among the human beings, among the adolescent children. And what are those secondary sexual characters? In case of males, the males will have a low pitch voice. Low pitch voice means the voice will become, little heaviness will be there in the male's voice, in the boy's voice. So boys will be having low pitch voice. Beards will come on the faces. Moustache will come on the face. Their shoulder will become broader and the hip portion will become narrow. These are the certain sexual secondary characters which develop among the boys in case of secondary sexual. Now, in case of females, the females have a high pitch voice. Females, the girls have as soon as the girls reach puberty, they attain puberty, their voice changes and it goes towards a little shrillness, it comes in their voice. So the pitch becomes very high. The face remains smooth, and here the conditions are opposite to the males, to the boys. Here you can see, in case of boys, the shoulder was broader, but in case of girls, the shoulder is narrower. In case of boys, the hip was narrow, but in case of girls, the hip is broader. There is a reason behind this, because scientifically or generally whatever we can say that the males have to do a heavy work with them, so they are having the shoulders very broader because they are meant to do a very hard work. But when we are talking about the females, their hips are broader because they have to carry a child, they have to take care of a child inside the mother's womb. So at that time, the broader hip supports the mother to hold the child inside the uterus. So certain conceptions or certain reasons are explained behind this terms, behind these secondary sexual characters development, that these are the reasons which are certified by the people, that this is why this is broader and this is why this is narrower. So these are the secondary sexual characters which are developed after attaining puberty among the girls and the boys. Hope today's section you have understood. Thank you.